What is up, people? What is up, people? This is a live stream with
Crystal.
Crystal and Abraham. This is a new piece of content to the channel. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so we want to see you all answer some questions live. I want to make sure this audio is set up properly, so hold on. Let's see. But Crystal, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Excellent. We went to see a property today. We're just doing a little banter right now as we get everything set up. So we went to see a property today for a client.
A client who found us here on this channel.
A client that found us here on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting.
A client
that found us here on this channel.
Excellent.
And, oh, yeah. Look at that audio. That was interesting. Perfect. Excellent. So the audio works. So we can get into this. So today we went to see a property in the Woodbridge for a client. Oh, am I still? It's still on. Okay, I forgot YouTube.
Yeah, they don't want. Okay, there you go.
Testing. 1, 2. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we went to see a property for a client and a client that found us on YouTube. We're doing some video tours for them. This particular property that we went to look at came on the market with no pictures.
No pictures.
This is a first for us. We've been in business for 13 years now. Have never seen.
Well, no, we've seen properties that were not in the best condition where there were no pictures.
Right.
We've never seen a move-in ready property that did not have any pictures taken.
That was strange.
And this property is move-in ready.
It's move-in ready. There's really no reason why. There's no photos. Maybe it's just a case of the logistics on the agent side. I don't want to say anything negative about the agent, so I'm not. But that was strange. So just talking to the client on the via Zoom, they're out of the country, they're planning on buying something to move into by
the end of the year. And usually we do video tours.
We usually do video tours,
yes. But this agent or seller, they're not allowing video tours. And
for some strange reason,
we were under the impression that since the listing went live today, that there would be pictures today. So I went ahead and made the appointment.
Right.
For Abraham to show the property or see the property. So that way he could answer any questions the client had after looking at the pictures. And there was also supposed to be a video tour that the agent was going to upload, maybe a 3D virtual tour.
Right.
And so we really were going to see the property just so we could put eyes on it. Because we know this client, we've been working with them for a little while. We know what they've been interested in the past. So we figured, we'll go put eyes on the property and we'll see, we'll be able to convey and answer any questions they have, right? But no pictures. Contacted the agent, maybe a few more days before there are pictures.
Right.
So we're just in a gray area with this one.
How do you buy a property without seeing it? Also, so we did conduct an audio tour of the property, which is a first, right? So I guess if we had a client that was visually impaired, this is essentially how they would buy a property anyway, right? I mean, well, I guess they would feel around, so that's not true.
I think that because we've done video tours with clients. We've had clients, lease our by either looking at a Matterport tour or something like that. But this is the first time we didn't actually have some type of visual for the client. Now the good thing is the homes in the community are not that different.
That's true. It's a new construction community.
It's a newer community.
It's a newer community.
And this is our third property that we've toured for this particular client in that community.
Right.
And so I think that makes it a little bit easier. I think had it been in let's say it was in Lake Ridge.
Right.
Instead of being in Eagle Point. I think that there's more variety. And also because of the age of those homes, it would have been a little bit more difficult for you to try to explain or give them a visual.
That's true.
So anyway, interesting day.
Yeah.
Interesting day.
I guess you're probably wondering why we're talking to you about this, because some of our clients come from different parts of the country or different parts of the world, and they may not have the ability to schedule a buying trip to see properties. And one of the services that we offer is a video tour of the property, right? So we take a camera. I have it right here. We take a little camera, pocket camera, great quality video on here. It's on a gimbal as well. So we take,
Steady.
yeah, it's very steady. We take that camera, walk through the property, and essentially try to talk you out of buying the property, right?
Well, just make sure that you get the same feeling that you would get if you were actually in the property.
Right.
If you were touring the property in person, you would notice things.
Yes.
And I think that is the disadvantage when buying a property, sight unseen, without physically seeing it, is that you will not see the flaws because the cameras are either not that great or no one's pointed out. Where if you were seeing a property with your agent might point some things out to you that you would not have otherwise seen.
That's true. That's true.
And so I think that you do a good job in the videos of pointing out those things. They're very detailed videos. So it's not just he doesn't just walk through. There's constant commentary, and you measure every room and you point out the flaws. You also point out the great things too. But so that's what we did today.
Yeah. And like I said, the reason why we're having this conversation with you all right now at the beginning of this particular video is because, like I said, some of you are buying sight unseen, and we want to make sure that you have a firm grasp of what we're dealing with when we're doing these video tours. Some of the properties are not going to allow video tours. That's not common, though.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever had an agent decline our request for a video tour.
That's true. So
it's a rarity.
So most people will allow you to do the video tour, and when you get a video tour from us, it will be anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the size of the property. And like I said, my main goal with doing these video tours for my clients is to kind of talk you out of the property, right? Like if I could point out as many negative things about the property, and then you could still say, you know what, I still want to go move forward with the property, then we know that we have a property that's ideal for you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the goal, right? Because I know we know people who have purchased properties sight unseen before, and one of their main concerns was that, I don't feel like my agent showed me everything, right? They should have disclosed this. And then in the future winds up that the client doesn't use that agent to list their property in the future or sell that property in the future. And so we would like to represent you on the buy side when you buy the property and on the listing side. So we know we want to make sure that you feel super confident with what we're delivering, right?
Yeah. And also I think that in the market that we've been in, of course it's changing a little bit, but in the market that we've been in, people haven't been able to schedule buying trips because you may have to put in multiple offers. And so because of that, you can't say I'm going to come the second week in October and I'm going to choose a house. We're going to see a dozen homes and we're going to choose one. That was the case years ago, but that's not the case now. Right now, you may be looking at properties for several weeks. We may do several tours, not only because you have to find the house that you want and like, but also because you may not win that first go round.
Exactly.
And because a lot of our clients are moving from across the country, they're PCSing, they don't have the option to make multiple trips. Most people aren't moving from Southern Virginia up to Northern Virginia. They can't drive up a few weekends.
That's true.
For the most part, people are moving from, at least one time zone away.
That's true. And I also think that a traditional, in a buying trip, in what most people think of a buying trip, there's a lot of properties on the market. And with this particular market, there just may not be that much property in the market in general. And so how many buying trips are you going to make?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then the buying trip really becomes more or less like a neighborhood scouting trip where you're trying to define or cancel out or.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it also goes to a lot of buying trips in the past when buyers could, let's say it was a buyer's market. It's almost like you're doing a house hunters television show where you're going to come in, you're going to see X number of properties, and you're going to choose between these 6.
Yes.
And that's just not the reality of how it goes because those 6 might be duds. You never, so many times I manage our client portals. And so I see the feedback immediately, what our clients want to view in person. And so many times people like a property when they see the pictures. They love it. They're like, I think we want to make before we even see it, I think we want to make an offer on this house on Main Street.
Right.
And then we get there, we do the video tour, and they're like, oh my gosh, like we didn't even need to see that property.
That's true.
And so I think that I just can't see when a buying trip would be advantageous versus just taking the time to see as many properties as if you were here in person.
That's true. So for the first, I guess the question is up to you. Would you ever buy a house sight unseen? Would that be something that you would do? Have you ever done it? If you've done it before, comment down below. Let everybody know how that process went for you. If you would never do it, tell us why you wouldn't do it. What is it stopping you from buying a house sight unseen? Just using video tours, or like our current client, just using an audio tour, right? What's stopping you? So my name is Abraham Walker. This is Crystal Walker, and we are with the Ask a Walker team. We're a husband and wife real estate team. And at the beginning of this live stream, I told you that we're doing these live streams now to give you an opportunity to access questions real time. Our audience is getting a little bit larger, so it's not the best. It's not the best way to manage this size of an audience just through the comment section or just having everybody try to fill out our form or call us. We appreciate the phone calls. We appreciate the text messages. But sometimes, you just want to have a quick question. And we also want to bring you all more content, more relevant content, less edited content, because like if you've been following the channel, you may have noticed that our videos have gotten a little bit longer. And those longer videos take a little bit more research, they just take more time to produce. So how do we get more information to you all and answer any questions that you may have before you move to the area, or if you're local when you're moving around the area? So that's what this live stream is about. So please help us with any feedback that you may have about this series, these segments. We're going to be coming live. I know today we're a little late, but there was client stuff. But in the future, we're going to be coming live. What is it? On Wednesdays?
Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes,
Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, right? So schedule it, set it in your calendar, and then every week we will be covering a different part of Northern Virginia. So today we're going to be covering some topics for the Fairfax County area. We're going to look at the stats. We're going to look at some news that may affect the real estate market or help you with researching the area. Then we'll cover some things to do as well. So that's kind of what the series is about. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A session. So please add your questions to the comment section, and then we'll cover them either throughout the video or at the end of this video. What do you think about that?
Works for me. So I think we're going to start off, as Abraham said, we're going to have some market stats every week. And so we are going to focus on what's happened. Is it over the last 30 days? What are we doing in Fairfax County?
Today we're doing the September numbers. So right now it's October 13th. So the September numbers are out, or we've crunched the September numbers. So this is going to give you an idea of what has happened last month, so you can kind of get some type of prediction of what will happen moving forward. Also, I want to cover some of the most expensive neighborhoods, some of the expensive zip codes, some of the cheap zip codes are not cheap.
More affordable.
More affordable. That's a great PC way.
Yes, that's the way you want to say that.
That's what you want to say, right? But if you have a tight budget, like where would you start that search? So we'll cover some of that as well. So let's get into the numbers here. I won't share my screen because this is the ugly spreadsheet. So we'll get that fixed in the future. So in Fairfax County, there were in the month of September, there were 1,600 home sales, or 1,617 home sales. And that is a 3.8% decrease over the same time last year. one of the reasons why you're kind of monitoring how do Cameron Elementary School. Okay, excellent. We'll add that. Thank you for that comment. So one of the things that you want to monitor right now, especially, is that the market is kind of going at it's kind of freezing up a little bit, right? We're not seeing, first of all, we're not seeing that many houses come on the market, which is normal. That part is normal.
It's fall.
Right. But now we're actually starting to see some price reductions. We're starting to see, we have a couple listings on the market right now. So we're starting to see just less showings.
Fewer showings, days on market, although still not high by any means.
Right. The days on market are not high. I don't think it's anything to be afraid of yet. But it is interesting right now, right? Especially to go from this, I mean, we were slinging houses at the beginning of the year.
I mean, not even the beginning of the year. I mean, just think of June, July.
Oh, yes, that's true.
It was just like, I mean, we were having trouble when we were working with buyers where we couldn't get appointments.
Yes.
You know, like, oh, Sunday, everything is booked. We have to see it Saturday night.
Yes.
And we're just not seeing that same rush from buyers.
We're not seeing the same rush from buyers, but we're also seeing sellers. We're starting to see some drastic price reductions because I think that some sellers knew that it's almost like it's not like gambling, but it is something where you see everybody else's prices increase. So in your mind, you're thinking, you know what, I'm about to cash out. And so I think that what we're going to start to see is we're going to start to see sellers who were watching the market at the beginning of the year and they couldn't sell for some reason, right? Like either
they held off. Whatever reason,
for whatever reason, right? If maybe you didn't retire in time, maybe your next house wasn't going to be ready, or maybe you didn't even know where you want to live,
or you had stuff you want to do to your home, right?
Exactly.
So you're like, oh well, I have to hire a contractor because that's been really hard for a lot of sellers. Is finding an available contractor. Our contractor has been swamped.
Yes.
The contractor that works on all of our clients' homes, he worked on our house, and right now we are waiting for him to do something here at our house.
That's true. That's true. So how do you manage that? I mean, we have a listing right now in Kingstown where the neighbor, 3 houses down from our listing, they have been battling with the contractor for
a few weeks.
No, a few months now. They were supposed to come on before us.
They were supposed to come on the market before we came on the market.
And so how do you manage that? That whole process is really challenging right now. And so and now we're starting to see the prices kind of decrease. So I think that a lot of sellers are going to be upset that they probably, because of their hesitation or because of the fact that they just couldn't get the timing right, they probably left some money on the table. $10,000, $20,000, $50,000
We have definitely seen that. We've seen that. We had another client who was searching for a home earlier in the year, and it took them a while to find a property. And since it took them a while to find a property, it took a while before they could get their current home on the market.
Yes.
And so they definitely feel like they left some money on the table.
Exactly.
Because had they been able to close on what they wanted to purchase in the spring, then that means that we probably would have been able to list their home in the spring or summer versus coming on the market in the fall.
That's true. That's true. Let's get into some of these questions, some of these comments. So thank you all for watching. Do Cameron Elementary School? Yes, we'll add that to our video list. Right now, our video content right now is mainly focused on covering all of the different areas in Fairfax County, right? So we want to give you all almost like a library of content. So if you're moving to the area, you can just come to one location, watch all the videos about the area, and then be up to speed, almost like better than a local, right? So the schools are next on our list.
They are. That is actually our next big project after we finish the areas. It's going to be schools. But we, in the future videos, the nightly videos, we will highlight one school for each area that we're doing. So this week is Fairfax County. So we won't cover Fairfax County again until 4 weeks from now.
Gotcha.
Because next week we'll move on to, Arlington, City of Alexandria, and Prince William, and we'll come back around. So we'll definitely add a note about Cameron Elementary.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that comment. We do appreciate all the interaction. Let's see. Prices are sky high. Are prices sky high? I would say that they're higher than you're expected, right? So we did have like almost a 20% increase in year-over-year prices, right? In 2020, we're still seeing an increase this year, 2021 as well. But you got to consider that some of these prices are just now getting back to what the 2008 numbers, right? So I think that the Northern Virginia region has done. Now, not to say that somebody can control the prices, but the price increase since the recession has been fairly moderate. So I wouldn't say that prices are quote unquote sky high yet, right?
Mhm.
All right, and let's get to one more question we have out here. Does Fairfax have great sports programs? Oh, absolutely. Your kid is, no matter what sport your kid is into, Fairfax County has it.
Mhm.
Now, I will say Fairfax County is more of a private sports club.
Yeah, so when kids are in lower grade levels, definitely more private. And by private, we just mean not through the public schools,
Not the
because
right,
the rec centers offer a lot of leagues.
right.
So like there's a league if your kid plays hockey. There's a league at Mount Vernon. South County and everywhere has, and even Springfield, they have like the basketball,
Right.
track and field, all of that jazz. Little League is all over. Little League and Pioneer Baseball all over. The middle schools here don't have sport programs.
That's
so
weird.
If you have, that was weird for us.
Weird.
We have middle schoolers.
Yes.
And so that was surprising for us because we just assumed there would be team sports in middle school, and there are no team sports in middle school, provided through the public school system. So you will have to join a league. When our boys wanted to run track, we had to find a private program for that. Mm-hmm. Our oldest played baseball. We had to go through Little League, and then Little League only goes into a certain age. So then from there, now you have to go into a travel team.
Right.
So there are a lot of options available if you are a parent who's looking for a sports league. And then in high school, we have everything. Yes. We did previously do some school videos a few years ago, and one of the things that came up was our high schools have every sport you could think of. I mean, there's lacrosse, there's football, and every season there's a bunch of sports. So, in the fall, there's like 5 or 6 sports, spring, winter. So yeah, everything that you're looking for as far as sports for your kids is available here in Fairfax County.
What, Patrick, what sport are your kids? Okay, there we go. Patrick has already let us know. So I'm from Florida. My kids play football, basketball. Oh yeah, you're gonna be fine.
You have it all. Yeah, all of that.
You have everything.
Yeah, we have. Depends on their age, but there are private clubs for all of that. I mean, we have so many friends. The kids play football, soccer. Our youngest played basketball at one point. So yeah, all that's available here.
Another cool thing about living in Fairfax County is that since the prices are higher here, and also because the incomes are higher here, that means that you actually have programs throughout the entire county. So in some markets, you only have sports available in like the more wealthier areas of the county. That's not the case here. You'll be able to find a club for your kid in any section of the Fairfax County area, which is great, right? Because like I say, like if you have a really athletic kid, you may be trekking all the way across, several miles to get to somewhere, but not in Fairfax.
Not in Fairfax County. And that's actually one of the things I love best about when our kids were playing those sports when they were younger, is because we have a plethora of options. Yes. When our oldest played Little League, so many of his schoolmates and classmates were on that same team because we have a Little League for our community. So many of those kids were, the Central Springfield Little League team. Right. So many of those kids went to the same elementary school or the neighboring elementary school. And so that was really great because it's great for the kids because they became closer friends with, other students from their school. Exactly. But also it's good for the parents for carpooling and also just for getting, making those relationships. A lot of us as adults, we make our friendships through kids.
That's true, especially you.
I mean, you're not wrong. My closest friend here is someone I met through my son's Little League. Yes. And so that's absolutely true. And so it's great that we have that option. It's not until the kids get older that they have to start moving a little bit further out for those sporting options.
So speaking of friends, I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but I just want to kind of comment on this. Since so many parents participate in the sports programs here, you're going to be moving to this area from somewhere else, right? And like you may find it challenging to make new friends. So because the sports programs are, I guess, well funded, and also there's great participation, there is an opportunity for you to make some adult connections, which in this region, in this area, I would say is very important to your quality of life. One thing that's different about our channel than other channels, I would say, is that we are concerned about not just your housing experience. We also want you to have just a great overall experience in the Northern Virginia area. So that's why we include walking tours. That's why we talk about things to do. That's why we had our restaurant series where we covered different barbecue joints. That's stuff you do after you move here, right? And developing friendships, developing new relationships. That's also important to you really enjoying
absolutely
living in this area.
Especially because it's such a transient area. Most of us do not have family nearby.
Right.
So many people move, whether it's because they're PCSing or because they, their education brought them here or their employer. So chances are you're nowhere near your family.
Right.
Most of us, don't have grandparents, or our kids don't have grandparents that are just a drive away.
Right.
And so because of that, it's really important that you as a parent make connections because essentially your friends here become like a sort of family unit.
That's true.
Unless you already have, a built-in unit here or nearby.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so let's get into some more numbers because we don't really know how long this live stream is going to last. We're just going to talk until we stop talking, until we go hoarse. But Patrick, you're moving next summer. Excellent, excellent. Let us know where you're going to be working at, Patrick, because usually, another thing, most people that are moving here are usually moving here to work here.
Yes. That's what brings people here.
Right. We're rare that in 2013 when we moved here from New Orleans, we already had I had an aunt that lived in Kingstown, so I knew where we were going to be staying. But really, we closed down a real estate business, opened up another real estate business up here. So we weren't really location. We weren't restricted by location.
Yeah,
or
because
by
commute time. Because a lot of people, the commute time is a big thing for them. It's like, okay, well, I have this budget and I want to be this far from DC or this far from the Pentagon, whatever. For us, it was like, well, we're in real estate.
Right.
So wherever we move, we'll find a real estate office there, and that'll be that, right? And so since his aunt lived in Kingstown,
right.
And he'd actually stayed with her briefly after Hurricane Katrina before we met.
That's correct.
He already knew that we were going to move to Kingstown because it was the only part of town he was really familiar with. And we were starting we were closing, like he said, our real estate business in New Orleans was closing and we were relocating and moving here. So he at least wanted to move to a place that he was somewhat familiar with.
Exactly. At the very beginning. And we just lucked out that
we love it.
Yeah, we love
we
Kingstown.
haven't moved. We love it.
Yes, it's a great location. There's plenty of walking trails. We try to convince as many people as possible to move near us because we just enjoy it so much here. Also, it's conveniently located. On and on and on and on. We could talk about Kingstown for forever.
Yeah, we could.
But Patrick said that he's a truck driver. Oh yeah. Patrick, we spoke, right? Did I?
I think so.
Yes.
Oh wow, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I spoke to Patrick on a Zoom session, a perfect home questionnaire session. Oh, you know what? This is a great time to plug that. One of the things that we offer our YouTube viewers is a perfect home questionnaire where you actually jump on a Zoom session with me and I answer any questions that you may have about relocating to this area. There's really no hard pitch on this session. It's really just answering questions that you may have. And it's a little bit more detailed, right? And so Patrick went through that process as well. So Patrick, thank you so much for joining the show. So let's get back into some more numbers. All right, so the other thing that kind of stood out to me in the numbers this month. So remember we're looking at September numbers. Is that the days on market have decreased? The days on market are still decreasing from last year.
Okay.
Overall, though, this is the overall numbers. So you got to remember, Fairfax County is a
massive area.
Massive area. So it's much larger than most people realize when they move here?
Yeah, so just a little bit from research that I did for a previous video. If Fairfax County was a city, because it's not, but if Fairfax County was a city, it would be the 10th largest city in the country.
Gotcha.
So it is a big area, and that's why numbers can vary so much from one part of Fairfax County to the next.
Yes. Okay, so I want to kind of highlight some zip codes here because it's going to be easier for you when you're doing your research to look at zip codes in relationship to where you're probably going to be working. Our most expensive zip codes for the month of September were 22101. The average sales price in that zip code, which is in McLean, was at 1.9 million. Great Falls was 22066. The average sales price in that zip code was 1.5 million. Then the third winner up is in Vienna at 1.18 million, and that's 22182. And then Fairfax Station is number 4 at 1.07 million, and that's 22039. And then the last zip code, or the fifth most expensive zip code for the month of September, was in Dunloring, and that is 22027, and that's at $964,000. So what you're going to do with this information is just take where you're going to be, take where you're going to work, plug in the zip code to see if the commute time is going to work for you, right?
Yeah, and that's probably a little bit better than putting in the area, just because sometimes an area may have multiple zip codes. Because even looking at this list, Dunloren is really like right outside of Vienna, but then the next two after Dunloren are also Vienna.
Right.
So that's a good way to research it if you can find the zip code.
You got to push over some more. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
You just want me close to you. It's okay.
That's true. That's why I married you. All right. Now the most affordable zip codes. We're going to start with the least affordable, or the most affordable, and then it'll get a little bit more expensive. So we have Bailey Crossroads, the 22041 zip code at $430,000 for the average sales price. We have Alexandria, right? So Alexandria is a wide swath of land in the in Fairfax County that's going to be below 95. That's going to be 22309 at $456,000. Reston 20190 at $498,000. And Springfield comes in at number 4, 22152 at $523,000. And then Fairfax 22033, $525,000. While this video is airing, I believe we have Fairfax. We're about to do Reston video, and then we have Alexandria. Alexandria video is already up. So
Alexandria is up, Springfield is up, and Fairfax is up.
Yep, exactly. Oh yeah, Fairfax.
Fairfax is up. Reston will be shot this week, so it'll be up next week.
Exactly.
And then just to go back, Vienna, which was listed on the most expensive, that video actually went up on the channel today.
That's true. That's true. So that's another thing you should do. When I give you the area, just go into our playlist and look up the area itself to find out to find a more in-depth video about that particular market.
Yeah.
See how that worked out?
Yeah. Well, so Fairfax County has 18. Fairfax County has 18 areas, and so what we're doing right now, we're in the process of putting up videos of with information about all 18 of those areas.
Right.
And so it includes information about the real estate, what type of homes are available, how much they cost. We take a little tour of the neighborhood so you can kind of see what the homes look like, or what the neighborhoods look like.
Right.
And also like things to do. For the most part, when you move to an area, like where you live is where you play. So for the most part, you're going to go to the supermarkets there. You're going to eat out in those areas. So we try to show you what's going on or what there is to do in that area.
Yes.
So that's what, and also commute, because that's a huge thing for most people who are moving here, because most people don't work from they may work from home right now,
but then that's not going to
but
last.
That's not that. Yeah, that won't last always.
Yes. So again, two ways to look at this list, right? If you go to the replay for this video, you go to the zip code. You can use the zip code itself, or you can use the area, and then we have area videos for you to go into more depth. I think that we'll probably finish all 18 areas by the end of the year. The goal is to have it finished by the end of the year, because they are taking a little bit longer to produce than anticipated, right? Okay, so
and that's because they're so thorough. The videos are, more than twice as long as our average video.
Yes.
And so because of that, it takes a little bit more time to do the research, to do the video, and then also to edit those videos.
Exactly. Good. So that's all I have on the numbers side. So now we're about to go into some news topics.
Newsworthy stuff, right?
Yes.
So speaking of schools, the two comments we've had so far have both mentioned information about, programs in schools. So something I read last week is that SAT scores in Fairfax County have actually gone up. And they are above the global average. So one of the things that parents love about Fairfax County in general are the highly rated public schools. It's one of the things that leads people to move here versus other parts of Northern Virginia. And so a lot of times in our videos, we talk about high schools because we kind of look at it as a top-down thing, where usually when you see a higher rated high school, you also see the schools at the lower level are a little bit better as well. That's not always the case though, but usually that's what we see. And so what we see here is that the Fairfax County numbers, actually the overall mean was just over 1,200. And just to put that in perspective, the state average, it was 1151, and then the global average is 1060. So I thought that was pretty interesting. One thing Fairfax County did last year, even during the pandemic, and just so you know, during the pandemic, the number of kids taking the test went down just a little bit.
Oh, did it? Okay.
But Fairfax County started this thing last year where they offered the test for free on a weekday at the school.
Oh, wow.
And so they did that last year, and 63% of students took the test and took the SAT. And they offered it again this year, and that actually was today.
Oh, okay.
So that's one great thing, is that they're giving students an opportunity. Sometimes the barrier to entry for those type of tests is going to be the cost of taking it.
Right.
And so we don't have high school kids yet, but it's something that we already talk about is, preparation for the SAT.
ACT prep scores, yes.
SAT. So we're
SAT,
from
yes.
Louisiana. We took the ACT, but
Gotcha.
kids here will take the SAT. And so that was just something interesting. And while we're talking about schools, I also I shared an article with you this morning.
Okay.
About U.S. News. If you've watched any of our videos, whether it's our older school videos or even the more recent area videos, one of the things we always talk about is U.S. News, because when we're looking at high school rankings, we get that from U.S. News typically. And the reason I go with U.S. News versus, say, a Great Schools or a School Digger is because Great Schools relies a little bit more on parent opinion.
Right.
And I find that niche, I feel like great schools, in my opinion, rates the schools more harshly. And I feel like niche is almost
too lax,
right? And so I look at U.S. News when I'm looking at the high schools because they are based more on graduation rates, test scores, the number of students taking and passing AP tests. And so I like U.S. News, and also because they rank them not only amongst schools in Fairfax County, but the entire state of Virginia, as well as the D.C. metro area.
Yes.
Because a lot of people who are moving here are not limiting their home search to just Virginia.
Exactly.
So if schools are a priority for them, they may look at other parts of the D.C. metro area. So anyway, I say all that to say that up until now, they'd only had high school ratings. And as of today, U.S. News now is going to be rating elementary and middle schools as well.
Nice.
So I'll be interested to see. I haven't seen all the numbers yet, but I'll be interested to see how their numbers compare to like great schools and niche as far as top schools in Fairfax County, in elementary school. And just really quickly, the top elementary schools in Fairfax County, I did save those, are Sangster Elementary, which is going to be one of the AP centers, and that's the Advanced Placement Center in Fairfax County, as well as Poplar Tree, which is in Chantilly, Mosaic, which is in Fairfax, and in Springfield Estates, which is another AP Advanced Academic Placement Center. It's actually the Advanced Academic Placement Center for our neighborhood.
That's true.
And so students who qualify are able to go to that school to have full-time AP placement for elementary school. So I thought that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing, like I said, how the numbers compare to the other schools, because U.S. News said they're only looking at reading and math proficiency, where again, other factors are considered when rating the schools through other means.
What is your, so if you're watching right now, if you're to this segment, right, you made it to this segment, what's your preferred way of ranking schools, right? So we know that a lot of people will either use greatschools.org, they'll use niche.
School Digger's the other one.
School Digger is another one. How do you rate schools, right? Because that's one of the questions that we asked during the Perfect Home Questionnaire is what tool are you using? And then we like to cater your home search to the schools that are in that rating, right? So
absolutely. Because for some people, schools are the top priority, and for other people, other factors are. And so we like to know like what's going to be most important to you. Patrick, you said, how are the public schools? Fairfax County has a lot of highly rated public schools. And so it really depends on, again, what your priority is. So I was actually, even in my notes here, it says I'm a bit conflicted about the U.S. News, the way they're doing the elementary and middle schools, because I feel like those other factors are kind of important.
Like what?
Like how you interact with the administration, what type of programs are available. So we know that some schools have extracurricular activities while other schools have none.
Yes.
Some schools offer foreign language programs as a standard in school, while other schools only have a Spanish after school program or a foreign language after school program.
Right.
So I think that for most parents, I think that it's a couple of factors, not just test scores.
So, Patrick, I would say that the public schools here are great compared to other parts of America. We have some of the highest or the top rated public schools.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that another factor that goes into public schools in general is what type of parents are located here. And so since you have parents we have some of the highest educated parents here. We have some of the highest concentration of 2-parent homes here. There's just really less stress in the home life of the kids, which means that they could perform better at school, right? And so considering that the public school system here is just going to be a better environment than some other areas, just because we don't really have, we don't have as many negative challenges outside of the school life, right, for the kids.
Yeah. And so I think because of that, like for us personally, we were considering moving a couple years ago. We actually thought that we would move this next year when our oldest son started high school and our youngest son would go to 7th grade.
Right.
We thought we would move to one of the highest rated pyramids. And ultimately, the way we look at it is we view our schools in our areas like a 90. This is our personal rating, right?
Right.
And so we feel like, well, we could move to this other neighborhood that won't have some of the other things we love about where we live to get to a 97.
Right.
And so I was like, well, do you uproot us and where we live and even our business and things? Do we do that in order to get from a 90 to a 97? And for us, we decided that we have enough here in our home as far as supporting our kids and activities that they're able to participate in, that we felt like it wasn't worth the move.
Yes. And I would say that diversity decreases drastically as you move into the higher tier public schools in Fairfax County, right?
Yes,
and so,
because most of the higher tier public schools are going to be in the higher cost of living parts of Fairfax County.
Right.
And so the higher the home prices, the less diversity is what we found.
Yes. And so that is also a part of the quality of life for us with our boys. So we have 2 boys right now. They're 11 and 13. So they're 6th and 8th grade. We want them, like I said, we look at their school life like we look at your real estate search, right? We want you to have an overall great experience. And so grades or the performance of the school is just one component to a great public school experience. Diversity for us is important for our boys to see representation at the school and a great community feel. So those are the things that we're looking for that may not be important to some individuals. So hopefully, Patrick, that answers your question. So Patrick, I got another comment here. My family tells me about the schools. My cousin stays in Woodbridge, but I want to stay in Fairfax. Again, Woodbridge is just further, right? It's further away. The schools are not as highly rated.
However, U.S. News actually rates some of the Woodbridge elementary schools higher than some of the Fairfax ones. But overall, in general, as a whole, Fairfax County has higher rated schools.
Right. So
yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, yes. But it doesn't make sense to hold punches here. These people are making decisions. Yes. Woodbridge schools are not as highly rated as Fairfax County schools. Everybody knows that. Also, Arlington schools are, for the most part, especially in North Arlington, are rated higher than Fairfax County. Yeah. So, and also Loudoun County schools are rated higher than almost all of the counties, right?
But then you have to live in Loudoun.
Which is
nothing wrong with living in Loudoun. It's just farther away.
Yes.
It's farther away.
All. You just have to consider that. So, so as far as schools and if schools is your primary component of your research or your drive to move to this area, then Fairfax County is going to outperform the Woodbridge schools in most of the stats, right? So the challenge then becomes is that Fairfax County, as you move further north, right, especially if you go into the McLean which is the northern part of the county, it's very expensive, right? But then if you go into Lorton, which is the southernmost part of the county, then it's more affordable. So now you still have the same challenges of commute, right? Like how long of a commute do you want? And what type of house can you afford, right? McLean it was on the top. It was one of the most expensive zip codes that we just covered. So can you afford to live there? Then, I don't know.
And so one of the things that people trade off when they decide to live in Woodbridge versus living in Fairfax County is that they'll get a house in a single family home in Woodbridge for what they would pay for a townhouse in Fairfax County.
Yes.
And so a lot of people choose to move out to Woodbridge to get a little bit more space.
Exactly.
But then you get a little bit more traffic.
You do get a little bit more traffic. But if space is important to you, then moving south or moving to the west is your only alternative, or just make some more money.
There you go.
Just make some more
money.
All right, excellent. What's the next topic on the list? Thank you, Patrick, for the question. Keep them coming. If anybody else has any questions, post them down below. We will answer them.
So next we're just gonna talk about some things to do in Fairfax County. So there's always lots of stuff going on throughout the county. We're going to talk about some, like earlier this week, we actually went.
Let me see if I can.
We have lived here for 9 years.
Yep.
And this is our first time, but we went apple picking. We took the kids apple picking. It was something they had been wanting to do. Our oldest son mentioned it. I never thought of doing farm labor as a day off from school activity, but hey,
I don't know that
the kid brought it up. And so we did. We had a good time, though. We actually enjoyed. We actually went out to our farm in Markham, Virginia. It was only an hour from our front door, hour and 2 minutes from our front door to this apple orchard you had a view of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Right.
And so we took the kids there. That was really cool. During this time of year, there's so many apple orchards between Maryland and Virginia. So we went ahead and did that. Making so much apple pie this weekend and apple butter. I'm making apple cider. We got way too many apples. But there's also, Halloween is in a few weeks. So we have the haunted houses and fall festivals. Cox Farm, which is probably like the most popular farm in Northern Virginia. Everybody knows it, especially if you have kids. They have their, their fall festival, their pumpkin patch, corn maze, all that jazz. And so that is a huge thing that a lot of families visit every year. We've been with our kids when they were younger. And then at night, they have their the Fright Festival. And so it is one of the scariest haunted houses. And so are you sharing your screen? So that's Theodore.
That's Theodore.
That's
us picking apples.
Picking some apples. That's Abraham II in the background.
And this is our loot.
That's our
loot.
That's our loot there.
Also, we should tell them, they give you, at this apple picking place, they give you $20 you can get like this.
A half a bushel. And so we got 2 of those bags.
Yes,
so we got a whole bushel.
Yes.
End up being over 100 apples.
That's a lot of apples, okay? So just you're warned. We're warning you now, right? Like, yeah, sure. You're like $20. What's $20? It's a lot of apples. That's what it is. It's a lot of apples.
You could never get this many apples at the supermarket for $40.
Not at all.
Never. Tracy asked where we went. We went to Heartland Orchard. So like I said, it's in Markham. We're in Kingstown, and kid you not, we got there an hour and 2 minutes. Like, I could not believe how quickly we were able to get. Oh, look, it's Tracy.
Hey, what's up, Tracy?
Tracy.
What's up, Tracy?
Tracy from Heath and Tracy.
Yes.
We watched their live.
They inspired us to do this show. They did.
So thank you so much for the inspiration, Tracy. You convinced me. Watching you guys convinced me to actually do a live stream. But yeah, so we had a great time at Heartland Orchard. And I mean, shockingly, the kids liked it.
They did like it, but our kids are crunchy like their environment now. I mean, we're from the city.
Yes,
so
I was saying they're not crunchy
people.
like their parents, because we are not pick your own apple people.
Yes.
Like Abraham always says, he fishes at Whole Foods. Like,
I do fish at Whole. I'm so successful at fishing because I go to Whole Foods, and also they clean the fish for you too. I like to joke to people that I have some of the softest hands on a grown man you've ever seen. They're well moisturized, and I'm just not built for manual labor, right? I'm built for air conditioning.
Matter of fact, you did not pick a single apple.
I'm not supposed to.
He
That's
just held the
why,
camera. He held the camera.
Hey, Tracy. So yeah, so now I will say this: if you're gonna go to the orchard, do not wear good shoes. Do not wear good shoes. Right? It's nasty out there. Our kids' shoes look like they look like hot garbage right now. We had to throw them in the washing machine once we got home.
We
Also,
wore our hiking boots though, so our
we
shoes
wore
are
hiking
fine.
boots, so we were fine. Also, you don't want to wear nice looking clothes. Like you can see the boys, they're a little nice looking. Don't do that. Don't do what we did, right? This is not, sure, you can have one of those cute Instagram photo sessions.
Well, that's why we didn't put them in real clothes, because they're
Yes.
like, we are not putting on like corduroy pants to go and
Look
mess
at that.
around in the mountains.
Look
Like,
look how much fun they're having doing labor.
I wish he looked that happy doing the dishes. That's what I
Yes.
wish.
Yeah, so this is another great thing about living in Fairfax County. This place is only an hour away from our house. So we live in Kingstown. I mean, that's amazing.
I told Abraham we're driving up there. I was like, an hour this way, and we made it to this orchard, but an hour in the other direction would have been in Baltimore.
That's true.
And I think that's one of the things we like best about living here, is that there are so many options for us as far as entertainment.
Right.
She said she thinks she'll stick to the winery.
Yes.
You know, some of the apple orchards, I think it's Stingham. They have a winery. It's an apple orchard. You can go pick some apples and also stop by the winery.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the orchard. If you like, labor for fun, farm labor for fun, or if you have friends, we have a friend on Facebook that be showing us all these great photos of her kids doing these farm labor tasks, and I wanted to try it. I can't lie.
Yes, you influenced Abraham II to do this.
I did.
Yes.
I did trick my son into thinking that he wanted to do this, and then he mentioned it to me later on. Right? That's parenting. I'm a Jedi parent
right there.
That's a Jedi parent right there. So then we went, because like I said, I have a Facebook friend that does this stuff, and I got to say, it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
But I just want to say, I told you her kids were younger than ours. I said she still has littles. Like, little kids like that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, it's cute when your kid is like 3 and 6. Our boys we have a tween and a teen, but they had a good time. So that was nice. That was nice. Speaking of winery, just really quick, I had another thing on here. The Mount Vernon Fall Wine Festival is coming up. And so they're going to have 18 Virginia wineries there. So that would be pretty cool to attend. Tickets are $49 for members and $59 for non-members. Abraham and I used to be members at Mount Vernon a couple years ago.
Right.
So if you're not familiar with George Washington's Mount Vernon, it is his former estate. And so it's actually a really cool place to visit. We used to go there for like their holiday events or whatever. So that was really nice. We haven't been back in a couple years though.
Right. Because it's not.
I think it's cool to do like when you first move here.
Yes.
I think that it's a bit of history. You take a tour of the mansion. You eat in the restaurant. You go to one or two of their events.
They have the little theater as well that you can watch the video. The video is really informative. But yeah.
You're over it.
Yeah.
We did it a couple years ago. I think we're good for now. You gonna tell them about what we did this weekend?
No, you can continue talking. I'll continue running the TV.
All right. Well, so this past weekend, there's a new restaurant that opened. There's this guy I used to follow years ago on Instagram, and he used to do like these food trucks, and it's called Kitchen Cray. And so he ended up opening a couple of restaurants, one in Maryland, one in DC, and then we went to an event at the Salamander. Maybe at the end of August.
Right.
We went to, it was the
family reunion.
The family reunion at the Salamander, which was a bunch of Black chefs from all over who did barbecue. And so he ended up being there.
Well, wasn't it? Well, our session was the barbecue, but wasn't it different?
They had other types of food on we went on the first day and it was barbecue, but there was other types of food and a whole bunch of events for people who stayed at the resort throughout that weekend. And so the chef ended up being there. Well, lo and behold, I just looked them up on Instagram a few days later, and I found out that there was a restaurant opening in Kingstown. So I followed the Instagram page, and
we live in Kingstown.
Yes. And so I kept stalking it for like the last month and a half. Like, when is this place going to open? I couldn't find any more information about a date. And finally, they posted something last week saying that they were going to do a soft opening for the month of October. And so every weekend for the month of October, they're doing a soft opening where you can go in and try the food. And so we went there this past Saturday. We went to Kitchen Cray Kingstown. we had a good time. The food was phenomenal.
Oh yes, and it was a soft opening, so we thought that the food was going to be meh.
Expectations were on the ground.
Yes,
like low expectations.
Also, we're great cooks too.
Both of us.
Like we're
Southern.
not
We're from New Orleans. We both cook like
Yes.
really well. Everything we make at home is from scratch.
Exactly.
Like everything. So we're pretty hard on restaurants.
Exactly. Also, when friends invite us over for dinner, we just let them know, hey, let's just enjoy the food or enjoy our company, right? Let's not talk about the food.
Let's not worry about the food, like
because we don't want to tell you the truth. You know, and some people can't cook, but then they cook for people.
So then we tend to host majority of the dinner parties. Like, you know what, you guys come on over.
We do.
Bring some ice. You know, bring ice.
Right, they're ice people.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Excellent. So this is these are some photos from Kitchen Craig. We had the
mambo shrimp. That's the appetizer we had,
which was great. Nice size shrimp. Hopefully they keep this same size shrimp throughout the opening of the restaurant. Then great cutlery. As you can see, these are photos taken with the Sony Mark 7, my favorite camera. Here we go, right here. This is it. I love this little camera. It's always with me. They have great cutlery. This is the entree. We didn't have another appetizer. We just had one appetizer.
We had one appetizer.
Okay.
Because this was brunch. It was
right.
Like,
this is the brunch setup.
This is like a noon. Yeah.
So this is the French toast and fried chicken thigh. It's just fried chicken.
Fried chicken, but it was dark meat.
But it was dark meat, which is the best meat on the chicken. The French toast. If you've been to Baltimore, there's a place called Blue Moon Cafe that sells Captain Crunch French toast. This tastes like that slightly, right? Just I would say it's not as crunchy.
It's not as sweet. Yeah, and I feel like the Captain Crunch French toast can sometimes be too sweet. So this was like perfect.
But if you're gonna go to Baltimore, you have to go to Blue Moon Cafe and get the Captain Crunch French toast. We'll talk about. I guess we'll do one of these segments where we'll talk about Baltimore.
Okay.
Because we love going to the inner harbor of Baltimore.
Love Baltimore.
Because it reminds us of home because there's a little bit of crime and then also there's great food. There is. It is. It's like that. It's like that. Like you like when you're walking around in Baltimore, like you feel like you gotta be looking like you're on a swivel.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay.
Oh, with my crossbody purse.
Exactly.
But we do love
I put
Baltimore.
my wallet in my front pocket, but then the food is great.
Yes, food is great.
Excellent. All right. So the French toast were great. The fried chicken was perfectly fried. So kudos to them for frying chicken properly. Right. Okay, and that was my hold on. Let's see. Okay, so this was your dish.
Yeah, so I had the catfish and grits, and again, Southern girl, I like my grits a certain way. This was fantastic. They also had crawfish in it. And again, crawfish outside of Louisiana, I'm like, I don't know. But this was actually really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, we would go back, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The grits were also, I make great grits. Actually, in college, my roommate Gil was from Long Island. And I asked him, I said, hey, I'm gonna make some breakfast. Do you want some? And he was like, sure. He said, what you gonna make? I said, I'm gonna make some grits. He was like, grits? What is grits? Yeah. And I was like, oh, grits. I said, I thought he was playing, but he's like, no. He said, what is this thing called grits? And I said, oh, I'm gonna make it for you. And then when you have it, you could just, you'll make up your own mind what it is. And so I made him some cheesy grits and he licked the plate. This place makes grits.
They make good grits
that are almost worth licking the plate. I also felt like the sauce was good, right?
Yes, the catfish was fried perfectly. It wasn't too hard. Like it was. I mean, the food was just good. Yes. And again, we just have a hard time when we go out to eat because we're so picky. And so it was great to go here, and everything was good. Like we had dessert. We have, and do you have any more pictures?
I do have this is the
wait, DJ. But before, let's just go here. So let me just say this.
Go ahead.
We love the food.
Yes.
The brunch had a very DC 25 and under, or maybe 30 and under. I think we're just a little long in the tooth.
Right.
We're
40.
We're almost 40.
Well, she's older than me.
I am 3 months older than this man. But I will say that there was a lot of loud music. Now, the music wasn't current music, so it was mostly music from when we were in college. So
Right.
the music was like 15, 20 years ago.
Yes.
So the music wasn't bad. It's just that it was so loud, and we're like in the middle of the suburbs, and I'm just like,
It
I've
was
never
interesting.
heard
It was
any. But I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I just think it definitely had like DC vibes, like
yes.
DC brunch vibes.
I don't. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the dessert that I had, which was the banana pudding. This banana pudding. There's a restaurant
It's
called
a
bakery called
Magnolia Bakery,
Magnolia Bakery. This banana pudding tastes
just
like it,
theirs. Yeah.
almost identical
Pretty much, yeah.
to it.
So Magnolia Bakery is a bakery out of New York City, but they're famous for their banana pudding, and I have their cookbook. So we discovered their banana pudding years ago.
Yes.
It's our go-to recipe when we make banana
Exactly.
pudding.
I actually make it better than
The lies you tell on the internet.
I do make it
but,
better. Come on now. Can you not? Can you admit?
Anyway, so we both enjoyed this banana
Can't
pudding.
admit it.
I just want to say this serving was big enough for 2 to 3 people.
Oh, absolutely. This bowl is deceptively small
Yeah,
on this
on the picture.
photo right
That's
here.
a soup bowl.
Yes.
Like it was a lot of banana pudding. But anyway,
it's good.
It was really good.
It was delicious. It tastes
Yeah.
just like
Mhm.
Magnolia Bakery.
Yeah. And then I had the rum cake,
Yeah.
which was also very good.
Mhm.
Although I have to say
It
I
was
ate
rum
more.
forward.
It was rum forward, which is
You
what
can
you want
kind of
for rum
see
cake.
it right here. There's a little
Yeah. So it was really
rummy.
good. Loved. I loved everything. I had some of everything, right? I eat off his plate. So.
See that? That's the rummy.
Yeah.
rummy part right there.
Anyway, we really enjoyed the restaurant. I'm looking forward to when they open. He said it'll be sometime before Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to when they officially open so we can go back again.
Absolutely. It'll be a great experience. I'm glad that we could walk there, right? So
Yeah, I mean it's really within walking distance. We
Of
used to go
Kingstown.
to the restaurant that was there that previously was at that spot. So yeah, we're really excited about having a new restaurant. One of the things about being in Northern Virginia, when you're in Fairfax County, you have a lot of chain restaurants.
Yes.
And so
yes.
people often ask like, well, when are we going to get something new? Or, you know, they want to have another place, another option to go to.
Right.
And so we wanted to make sure that we went out, we checked it out, and also that we told our neighbors and friends about it because it's rare that we get something that's not a chain restaurant in this area.
That's true. That's true. Well, do you want to cover that last point, or do you want to save that?
That was my last point.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do we have any questions before we log off? So this was what 50, almost an hour. That's not bad. I thought that this went well. What do you think?
Hey, I think it went pretty well too.
I think
you can talk. So
that's true. You are the talker in the family.
I said you can talk.
Yes. Tracy said, "Dang, that's cool." I think she was talking about.
She was talking about when we talking about the ice.
The ice,
That's
yeah.
right.
Some people are ice people. You
That's
got to know
fine.
if you're a napkin person. That's what you contribute to the.
They contribute other things.
Right.
You know, you don't have to contribute the food.
You don't.
It's okay. Bring lively conversation.
Exactly. Be the person who has those icebreaker questions, right? Everybody needs that, right?
Oh, thank you so much, Tracy. Really
Thanks.
appreciate it. Thank you for watching too.
Thanks. Also, Tracy, we sent you an email about doing a collaboration. Check your email. I don't know if it went to spam or not, but it came from Abraham at Ask A Walker about doing a collaboration. Heath and Tracy, go check their channel out. They do some great content as well.
They do. They have really great content about all the different areas. And they have their live stream on Saturday mornings.
Yes, check them out. I think it's Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So excellent. So I don't think we have any other questions here. Thanks so much, Tracy. And thanks to Patrick for chiming in. And also ALIX.
It looks like Ali Sarah. Something like that.
SARA. Excellent. You too out there. You're important as well. And that's it. So that's it for the show. We'll see you on next week.
Excellent.
Peace.